Joe Nemechek in the 87 there, making a move right now just in front of him. Jason Leffler trying to hold him off, but he's not going to be able to. Joe Nemechek gets around this racetrack very, very well.
Todd Bodine in number 66 Chevrolet will try to pass as well. Leffler driving one of the 5 Pontiacs in the field.
And that missile on the inside there, that's Mark Martin going by everybody.
For more on pole sitter Jason Leffler, Ken Squire.
Yeah, Leffler held on to that 3rd spot for the first 8 laps here. Let's not forget that he did have a very good run in the ARCA race at Atlanta last fall. He finished 5th and he ran it steady all day. The 3-time USAC midget champion really getting a big initiation here at Texas today, finally dropping back just a bit here in the standings. But we look for him to be a real contender in years to come. If you were to hire a guy on St. Patrick's Day to be an elf, he would be a real candidate.
There he is in 6th place in that number 18 with Jeff Green riding a tight draft. 11 laps complete. Kevin Harvick is your leader. Jay Sauter runs in 2nd. Joe Nemechek 3rd. Mark Martin is up to 4th after backsliding to 5th, or rather to 10th. Todd Bodine has the 5th spot. 11 laps complete in the Albertons 300 by Pop Secret.
Are these your final numbers?
Welcome back to Texas. 16 laps complete. There have been a few sprinkles, and now the yellow flag is coming out for the first time this afternoon, and it's 4 raindrops. They were able to run 4 or 5 laps with a light sprinkle because there was still enough heat in the racetrack from these race cars and the abrasion of the tires in the corners that they could run under green. But now NASCAR's determined it's a little too wet to race, so the caution's coming out. Jack Sprague had just made a pit stop.
He had slowed on the racetrack, Mike, and just came into the pit just as the caution was coming out, so it cost him at least a lap. Now, these tires, for the fans that might be new to this type of racing, the tires that they use on these cars do not have tread like your street tires would have. They're very slick, and they will not adhere to wet pavement. So at least a little bit of rain. There's the tire that we're talking about. You see how slick the pavement, the racing surface is on the tires, and boy, if it gets wet, there's no traction day.
Yeah, and those little sight holes across there, that's how you check how much you're wearing off the tire. They have a gauge they can stick in those holes and tell how much of the rubber's gone, because you can't look at the tire and tell how much wear you have.
Through the 1960s, they raced with treaded tires, but the tire company engineers rightly figured that if they filled in those grooves, it'd be more rubber surface on the racetrack. So slick tires have been the norm ever since, and these cars do not race in the rain. However, Goodyear, the sole tire supplier to the circuit, and will see it live on TNN. This is, of course, weather permitting. TNN continues with regular programming, but when the race runs, you'll see it live on TNN cable. Well, Ned, buddy, I guess it's kind of like the drivers. You get ready to go, and you go out and you run 19 laps, and then I sit here in the rain and wait, and Mother Nature won today.
Yeah, and they started out so well, and I was enjoying the race, a lot of competition for the lead, and all of a sudden it starts raining. You know, it just puts a damper on things, but when they go back, you can count on a lot of action.
I think there will be plenty of action. We still have that experience and that youth out there battling against each other. So if
race restarts, you will see it live on TNN. So for Ken Squire, Ned Jarrett, Buddy Baker, Dick Bergeron, Ralph Shaheen, and Bill Stevens, I'm Mike Joy saying so long from Texas Motor Speedway. Join us here tomorrow beginning at 1:30 Eastern Time for live flag-to-flag coverage of the DirecTV 500. Coming up next, the Final Four show, followed by Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Florida, North Carolina. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports.